going on, everyone? James Numbers here, and welcome back to another episode of the Political Freedom Fighters Podcast. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about something a little different. Nothing here in the United States, really. Again, this time it's going to be in Japan. Particularly, I'm going to be talking about something that I've basically watched since I was a teenager, called Super Sentai. Now, for those that do not know, let me pull up an article just to show you all what Super Sentai is. Hold up. There we go. Oh, shoot. I did not put it in a tile. Crap. Hang on. Showing a tile. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Anyways, so what is Super Sentai exactly? The Super Sentai series is a Japanese superhero team media franchise consisting of multiple television series and films produced by Toei Company and aired by TV Asahi. The shows are of the tokusatsu genre, featuring live-action characters and colorful special effects, and are aimed at children. Super Sentai airs alongside Kamen Rider series in the Superhero Time programming block on the Sunday mornings on TV Asahi. In North America, the Super Sentai series is best known as the source material for the Power Rangers series. Basically, what this means is Super Sentai is basically a group of, basically a team. Every season, there's like a team that runs based on a motif that basically work together and collaborate together in order to defeat a common enemy that threatens to destroy the world. So, yeah, that's basically what Super Sentai is, and like it says before, it's basically the original Power Rangers. And just to show you all what I'm talking about, here's what Super Sentai looks like. Yep, basically just a whole bunch of teams with different colors, basically working together. And yeah, that's basically it's Japanese Power Rangers. It's the original Power Rangers. Here's what it looks like. And so I know what you're all thinking. Why am I talking about Super Sentai? I know Power Rangers is canceled, but why are you talking about Super Sentai? Well, recently it had been announced that Super Sentai, according to a source that is closely associated with TV Asahi, that Super Sentai had been allegedly canceled because of the fact that Super Sentai was not making enough revenue from films, toys, and all other stuff that Toei makes money from. They weren't making enough revenue to keep up with the rising costs of production. So basically, it had been announced that Super Sentai was going to be closing down after like 50 years. So, with that being said, we're going to watch this first video just to give you all context as to what's been going on with Super Sentai. Hold on. Is this right? Super Sentai. So, yeah. Basically, a lot of YouTubers who are basically fans of Super Sentai, who go over Super Sentai really, have reacted quite a bit about this. This is a massive shock. So, shock to them anyways. I'm not sure it matters to a lot of people, but you get the idea. This is an issue. This is a topic that I want to talk about and go over with you guys because, hey, I watch this. I actually do watch Super Sentai like every week. Well, not every week, but I do watch Super Sentai very often. Ever since Sentai Gozyuger, which is a team based on animals, and where they do like cubes as part of their morphing sequence and part of their like Zords, basically a whole bunch of stuff like that. But yeah, with that being said, let's watch this first video. This first video is made by, I forgot what this person's name is, Dawson Rider. So yeah, let's watch this together. Yep.
Sentai is canceled. Keep it up and you will lose New Year's.
「 Oh yeah, at the time that video was made, Super Sentai had been said that it had been canceled, but later on, you'll understand why it's not really being canceled. But yeah, let's keep watching.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here. The sky is falling yet again. Super Sentai is canceled for the 50th year in a row. But there is apparently a semi-official, not report, well I guess report, I don't know, but a semi-official rumor, I guess I'll call it, that Sentai will...
Alright, I am so sorry for the rude interruption. With that being said, I'm going to have to start the video over. Let's play it.
Sentai is canceled. Keep it up and you will lose New Year's. YouTube, Dawson Ryder here. The sky is falling yet again. Super Sentai is canceled for the 50th year in a row. But there is apparently a semi-official, not report, well, I guess report, I don't know, but a semi-official rumor, I guess I'll call it, that Sentai will end with Gozyuger. Now, there has been Sentai's canceled rumors legitimately since I first got into Sentai and became like aware of the news about it and all that stuff. Like literally every year, if the trademark wasn't there, letter to the line of last year, Sentai is canceled. There was also that brief period of time where they thought Metal Hero was gonna replace it, and by they I mean the fandom doomsayers. So this has been a rumor like all the time, and I roll my eyes every time I see it. It's like, guys, we go through this every year, seriously. But this time there might be a little bit more concrete stuff about it. I'll be honest, I don't think it's happening the way you think, but it's kind of interesting because I remember there being language when Gozyuger was announced, and I can't remember whether it was in the press releases or the series description or the kind of language in the episode 0 about like, oh, it's the final battle, it's all culminating into this, it's the end or whatever.
I didn't know
and you
that.
had people speculating it was going to be the end of Super Sentai, and yet again I rolled my eyes because, I mean, this isn't necessarily a fandom exclusive problem for Sentai, but it happens in a lot of fandoms, whether it's movies or shows or whatever. You know, the slightest little thing has people thinking it's going to be canceled. You know, we just had that with Doctor Who. You know, they just finally announced it's going to be coming back for Christmas, but everyone was doomsaying since like the beginning of season 1. So it's like a common fandom problem to be like, oh, it's going to be canceled. I just dismissed that stuff in the early Gozyuger language. Again, I don't remember where it came from. I don't remember whether it was the press release or the trailer or whatever. But I'm just like, that's probably just part of the series. They're going to continue on. I will say, though, it is kind of interesting to think back on them forcing the changing about celebrating the anniversaries. Like, I know it's the 50th year. I know. But they always did the anniversary seasons on the season. They would do stuff sometimes on the number. You know, I think like Ninja and Zyuohger both were like...
Yeah, exactly. And this would explain why the Super Sentai ended up changing their anniversary from season to season to year by year. Because because it was likely something like this was gonna happen. And fans like us and fans like me didn't know this at the time, so yes, it does kinda add up as to why Super Sentai ended up doing their anniversaries based on years instead of season by season. And Super Sentai has always been relatively inconsistent on how they do anniversaries. Like for a while, until like 1995 with Torque Sentai, until Torque Sentai Old Ranger, and then Gal Ranger was like the last time they converted that from anniversaries based on years to anniversaries based on seasons. But that's like its whole other thing, and you guys don't need to worry about that too much.
Anniversaries technically, because one of them was the 40th year, one of them was the 40th season. So I know technically it is the 50th year to celebrate, but they made a big deal about them changing the way they celebrate the anniversaries. And they said it was to like desync it with Sentai or some stuff or whatever. But if it was the last year, it would make sense why they'd want to do that. Why they would want to move it up and do like a big anniversary season where you have all these past suits and everything. I'm not saying, oh, for sure that's evidence it's 100% canceled. I'm just thinking that is kind of interesting that they did that shift specifically so they could do an anniversary season, especially since it's so close to the previous anniversary season compared to how close Zenkaiger was to Gokaiger. Now I know Zyuohger was...
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, I do remember there being a video on there's a video on YouTube basically of Goshu, of the Red Ranger leader of the current Super Sentai season, number 1 Sentai Gozyuger. The leader of the team, Goju Wolf, is being interviewed by 2 members of Super Sentai and 2 common writers. In the Super Sentai side, it was Zenkaiser, which is played by Kaito Goshikita, who is the leader of the Zenkaigers, and Gokai Red, Captain Marvelous, who is the leader of Kaizo Sentai Gokaiger. And then on the common writer side, it was Common Rider Legend, who was just an extra common writer who was on Common Rider Gotchard. And then there was Common Rider Decade, who is apparently who plays a massive role in the Kamen Rider franchise. And all 4 of them go through interviewing Goju Wolf to see if number 1 Sentai Gozyuger is an anniversary season, based on some concerns that they had, like Gozyuger being only the 49th season, and the title of the show, number 1 Sentai, like, are you the 50th season or are you number 1? And all that crazy stuff. I'll also be linking that in the description below in case you guys want to check that out for yourself. And yeah, let's continue watching.
It's technically an anniversary season, but you know what I mean. When I say anniversary season,
Oh
I
god
think
damn
you
it.
know what I mean. It means the season to incorporate like the anniversary storyline type thing into the show, not one that happens to land on an anniversary and they do a movie or a two-part or something. And so that was very not suspicious because they've been anniversary crazy for a decade now, and we've
Yeah.
had legacy content in some form since Zenkaiger. Almost every series has included some sort of Gokai change or forced pass cameo. So it wasn't necessarily a surprise outside of cancellation rumors that they would want to find a way to be like, hey, let's get to the anniversary as fast as possible. And I was even thinking, there's no way they're not going to do something for the 50th season. Like, there probably will be some sort of legacy content in there. And it's funny because I was just recently thinking, because I'm not so hot on Gozyuger, like I'm actually really excited to get the new Sentai trademark. I don't remember when we always get it. I've never been a person that's been like, oh, if it's not the same week or the same day, it's canceled. But we're getting pretty close to when we usually would get it, and I was excited for it. And I was like, I wonder if they are going to do some legacy content because it's the 50th season, or if they'll shuffle it off to a movie. And I'm in that era now where I'm more accepting of it, which is why I'm not as mad at Gojuger, but it's kind of rough. But you know what I mean. So I'm like, if they do something anniversary related next year, fine, just make it good and not what Gojuger is. But I was also hoping for just kind of a fresh start, run of the mill season. In fact, I saw a rumor a little while ago that was about a card based magic season or something. I didn't talk about it because it was just a rumor. You know, Sentai rumors of the seasons fly around all the
Oh,
time.
okay, I
But I
see.
was just thinking, like, I'm really excited to get a fresh start and to talk about the Sentai scans. And then I was looking to see if there's any news, and this news popped up. Now, again, like I said at the top, I don't think it's what we think. There's multiple people also saying that this is kind of like misleading and it's kind of like a half truth where technically Sentai would end, but it's going to have something of a rebranding. I don't know what that's going to look like. Like, is it still going to have the Super Sentai name in it and then just have like a secondary title or have something else Sentai? Like, not super ultra Sentai. I don't know. Like, I don't know what that looks like. I just can't see this being fully true. Like, I'm gonna put a little snippet up from the article I read. Like, I couldn't find where the original news was. Like, it was just a bunch of different news articles and a bunch of different quote tweets. So I just Googled, and one of the first ones of a site I recognize, I think is Anime News Network, and I'll put up a little snippet, and it says the reason it's happening is because the profits basically from everything aren't enough to justify making the show, which we've heard that like Sentai's been in trouble-ish the last few years. Again, it's hard to decipher what's true and what's not because it's always being rumored to be canceled by the fans, but we have heard that like the profits haven't been as good, which is why you see them cutting costs on certain things. Like, we don't get full team power-ups because they couldn't afford to make things for everybody. We don't get as many Megazord releases, stuff like that. And you can kind of see where they cut corners in certain areas compared to Ryder. It feels like Ryder's not, I was going to say not, Ryder isn't in as big a trouble, but Ryder I don't think is in trouble because they're doing this whole push for like, simulcast and everything. So I think Ryder.
Oh yeah, and by the way, Kamen Riders it's actually out on YouTube right now. I believe there's this YouTube channel called Tokusatsu who actually releases who's actually currently releasing the current episodes of the current Kamen Rider series, Kamen Rider Zets, which basically revolves around a guy who basically dreams as a secret agent and actually ends up becoming a Kamen Rider. And through these dreams, he actually has to fight these black cases called nightmares, and he actually works with some cops from the paranormal affairs in order to defeat these black cases. And there's this guy who actually is related to one of the detectives who is on the paranormal affairs, and that's like its own fascinating story within itself. So yeah, I'll also be trying to link that in if I can remember. So yeah, let's keep watching.
Doing fine. So it's weird because I think it's a mix of things that feel true because I think that Sentai has been on a bit of a decline or at least a bumpy road these last few years. And then, of course, like I said, them moving it up, the anniversary stuff, it would make sense that they would want to do that. But I just don't see this being fully true. It's just been such a staple and they always find a way to keep it around. I really do think it might be something of a rebranding. That makes me really curious. Like, if it is something of a rebranding and it's basically still Sentai, but maybe we're wiping the slate a little bit clean. I don't know what that would look like either. That makes me kind of excited because even though if they just business as usual and this is all white noise, season 50, they do anniversary stuff, I'm not going to be pissed, but I just want it to be good. But it would be nice to have something back to basics where we're not doing all this shallow anniversary content, or maybe not back to basics, but sort of a mix of back to basics and something new where it's a little bit more grounded feeling. I don't mean that like dialing back the fantasy elements, but just, more normal feeling and not this weird Gojuger stuff, cameo stuff, but maybe something of a different flavor. Although, to be fair, Sentai's been pretty experimental for quite a long time now. You have many, like Q Ranger with a ton of Rangers. You have
Yep.
Lupat Versus series.
Yep.
You have like the oddity of the Boom Boonger suits. King Oger had not as different suits as some of them, but more experimental looking suits with a more serialized storyline. So there have been more back to basics series like Ryu Soldier and Kara Major, but they've been pretty experimental in comparison to Rider, which is extremely formulaic in a lot of ways. I mean, tokusatsu in general is, but you know what I mean. Like Sentai has been far more experimental with like the format in terms of like how many Rangers and stuff and what stories that leads to. But I would be all for something of a refresh in something monotonous like this. But I will say, if this is true and Sentai really is ending for now in terms of this format, or even if there's no rebranding or whatever, just for me personally, what a sad note to go out on with Gojuger. Like, I know it's like big celebrating and you have all these past suits coming back and, past designs and the Zord builder, so technically it feels like more of a celebration than just like ending on a Boom Boonger or something. But I mean, it's just not a great show, man. I've been trying and I was really hyped at the beginning, but it's just so hollow. I was thinking about this the other day too, where it feels like the premise of like a lot of the series feels like a YouTube short they would put on like the Tokusatsu Network or something that's meant to be just a 10-15 minute fun thing, not to be taken all that seriously. But that's the whole show. It just feels so hollow and annoying, and it's
I'll be honest with you all. I really don't think Super Sentai should have done the transforming into previous Sentai Rangers again. They did this with Dawn Brothers recently a few years ago as well, and that didn't really go anywhere. And the last time they had done it, but before Dawn Brothers was Gokaiger, and Gokaiger was like the first time they did it. It was cool when the Gokaigers did it, and future seasons and future Super Sentai teams who ended up doing that same thing the Gokaigers do, it basically like soured the taste because they were being more connected to anniversary seasons, and I'm like, dude, come on. I don't care about. I don't want to hear anniversary this every single year. I just want a normal Super Sentai series that is just enjoyable for me to watch. Now, anniversary should only be used when it's to actually like celebrate like some big event that's going on. Some big event in the series. You know what I mean? And it almost feels like anniversaries have become like way too common in Super Sentai, and it does kind of eventually get old. You know, even if it's only like every 5 years, it just doesn't feel special anymore.
a shame because they have a cool suit, a cool premise, like the beginning setup, what could have been a really awesome anniversary series. And if you're going to go out, it sucks that you wouldn't have more of a real good celebration because it would probably cost more to get a bunch of cameos. But it would be nice to have something like that and go with that idea of more past characters coming back as like weird variants, and rather than it being suit cameos. Like if this is the last season and instead of having cameos of returning characters, and instead, literally, that's all tokusatsu cameos are sometimes. It's just suit cameo. It's an empty suit. So, final thoughts, guys, and I might do more videos on this as it develops. No, I will do more videos on as it develops. By that, I just meant that like I might talk on this topic more before we get more news. But I don't think it's going to be technically canceled. I think that it's
Yeah.
going to be rebranded. I think that's probably the truth. Or I think this could just be the classic rumors that come up every year. It just has a little bit more credence this year. I personally don't think it's fully going anywhere. But what do you guys think? I recommend, which a lot of people probably won't follow the advice, but just be patient and see what happens. But anyways, guys, until next time, Dawson Ryder signing out.
All right. With that with that being said, he is actually right. Super Sentai is going to be rebranded into what I as to what I recall. I believe the new title of Super Sentai now is going to be Universe Heroes, I believe. And yeah, let's actually watch this. There's this next video. Let's watch this next video by Deoxys 360, also talking about this as well. So let's see if we can like pull this up. Let me um. Okay, I'm gonna need to exit this tab out. Come on. All right, here we go. You're not playing. Come come on.
Super Sentai's ending. What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Yeah, I've seen some reactions like
It's
that.
ending. It's over. It's over. Sentai is over. It's done. It's donezo. It's gone. It's gone. It's ending after Gozyuger. What will I do? What
We'll
will I
survive this,
do?
don't worry.
I honestly don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to pour myself another drink.
Hang on a second. I think the video might be lagging.
What will I do? This news kind of set the internet on fire like at
Never mind.
6:30 my time when it dropped. So I was going to report on this when it first dropped last night, but I thought I'd wait for more information, or like I get more translated opinions from it or translated sources from this, because, you know, it's when stuff like this comes out from Japanese news articles, like people sort of highlight the pinpoint of the interview and sort of like run with that. And I didn't want to jump on this like right away if things were going to change. So I saw this dropping, I went to bed, I went to work, I came home from work, and everyone's already made their videos on it. So I'm kind of late to the party probably on this one. So I honestly didn't see this article when it first dropped. It dropped at roughly about 6:26 p.m. October 30th, my time zone. But I didn't really see it when it first came out. I saw the quote tweet from Rangerboard when it first came out, and that's what made me raise a few eyebrows when it first came out. So this tweet came out from Oricon, who is known to be a good source of Japanese news from what I've been told. I don't think they lie and they clickbait like, you know, some people in the community, so I think they're pretty trustworthy from what I've heard. But they tweeted this out by saying TV Ayashi's Super Sentai series to end broadcast. And that first sentence raised so many eyebrows in the community, so many hats dropped in the community. You could probably hear it from where you're sitting right now when people read this. But they tweeted this out. I won't go over the entire article because I think it's going to have to translate. Yeah, but this is the meat and potatoes of what people are taking away from the article. So, it has been learned through interviews with related parties that TV Ayashi affiliated Super Sentai series will conclude with the currently airing work. The popular series, which began with Himitsu Sentai Gozyuger in 1975, will draw curtains on its half-century history. So that's big news to learn about. So then, of course, we got the quote tweet from Rangerboard. Cool people over there. Check him out. Rangerboard is definitely one of the many places in the community I get my factual Power Ranger news from. So definitely check them out. So Rangerboard tweeted this out by saying, "Don't believe everything you hear. This is misleading. We've known for a while about Super Sentai series ending with Gozyuger, which is true, but that's because they're rebranding with a new name. The news is correct, but technically it's due to the rebranding."
Yes, it is confirmed that Super Sentai has been rebranded. And oh yeah, and speaking of the cancellation thing, rumors that people talk about every year in Super Sentai, it is true. It does seem like this is not new in Super Sentai. Apparently, this goes back decades of, oh, Super Sentai is going to be canceled because certain seasons did perform poorly for whatever reason. And I've heard Jaka Dengektai ended up being like the shortest season ever because of how poorly Jaka did when it comes to ratings. And Battle Fever J made Super Sentai. Battle Fever J was popular enough to where like it truly got Super Sentai rolling. And there were also rumors about like O-Ranger potentially canceling the series, or even Ryu Soldier being canceled because Super Sentai was going back to doing dinosaurs again. I remember hearing about that years ago. It was insane. But yeah, you can understand where he's coming from. There has always been rumors about Super Sentai being canceled because they're so common, and people are always so on edge because people do love watching Super Sentai in general. So let's continue watching.
So, Super Sentai is ending, but it's ending with TV Ayashi. They're no longer going to be airing Super Sentai on their station anymore.
Makes
or
sense.
they're no longer be funding it or airing it. Either way. So, this is crazy news. Now let's read the next tweet from Toku Nation, who are also really good, really on point when it comes to stuff. So Toku Nation tweeted this out by saying, TV Ayashi will conclude its airing of the Super Sentai television series at the end of number 1 Sentai Gozyuger. Speculation is that Super Sentai will be rebranded as a whole for 2026, replaced with essentially the same thing with a new name. Stay tuned. So this last paragraph here, or this last sentence here, is interesting because the whole rebranded thing is what a lot of people have been talking about online for the longest time, because I don't follow a lot of leakers when it comes to Super Sentai these days. I get it like secondhand information, or I hear it from someone in the community, or I hear it from a good, well-known YouTuber, like a friend of the channel, friend of the show, people who know their sources. Now, from what I've heard, and I heard this on Tomkatsu from Thomas, is that the upcoming Super Sentai series, the whole magic ninja card thing is what the theme is going to be apparently. From what Thomas said on that podcast or on that video, is that apparently toy listings have been found for the upcoming Super Sentai series.
Really? I
that will
haven't
be
seen
airing
that
in
at all.
2026. And we've still got more Sentai toys on the way. But I think that's more of a Bandai thing than the TV station thing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But then again,
Bandai.
like
I
a
remember.
franchise can be
Oh,
dead
yeah.
and they still pump out merch. I mean, some franchises haven't aired in years and they still pump out new figures and stuff like that.
Which is
so
good, by the way.
that is still a possible thing. I mean, there's still like memorials coming out next year and other figures as well. So no doubt about it, like probably in December, I reckon, November, I reckon, they'll announce the memorial edition for the Gozu changer. That is for sure. I get the feeling we'll see that soon. But the whole rebranding thing, this has been a talk for a while, because if you look at the name of Super Sentai series, there's been a lot of them. There's been Himitsu Sentai Goranger, then Jaka, then Battle Fever J, then Denji Sentai Denjiman, then Taiyo Sentai Sun Vulcan,
And so on
then
and so
Dai
forth.
Sentai Gogo 5, then Kakugo, then
Are you literally
Kagaku
going through
Sentai
every
Dynaman,
Sentai name?
Chodenshi Bioman, Dendeki
Dengeki?
Sentai Changeman, then Choshinsei Flashman, and then when we get up to Hikari Sentai Maskman, there's always been Sentai in the title. So, you know, Koro Sentai Jurenja, Gosei Sentai Dairanger, Choriki Sentai Orenja, Gekiso Sentai Kaurenja, Denji Sentai Mega Ranger. So there's always been a Sentai in the title.
And as you all can see, like right there on right in this section, this represents the Power Ranger adaptations to these Super Sentai series, to some of the Super Sentai series. Not all the Super Sentai teams have been adapted into Power Rangers for whatever reason. Some because they exist, some because they were before Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, so they didn't feel like adapting it. Others is because like some other reason that I probably can't explain to you. They probably Power Rangers probably skipped some seasons because they're like not popular, or they probably wouldn't connect with kids, or whatever it is, maybe something like that.
Could they just be renaming it to something completely different that sort of moves away from the Sentai name? Sort of like, because, you know, we've had other Sentai series that moves away from the Sentai name. Could they be doing something like that? Who knows? Who knows? We'll have to wait and find out. But I get the feeling once we find out what this trademark is for the upcoming Super Sentai, which could be coming soon as of the time of recording this video. We have no idea. As of the time of recording this video, at 6:30 p.m. on October 31st, 2025, and when I will launch this video in the next couple of hours, we have no idea with what the next Super Sentai series is going to be. And
Still don't know.
although, like, I know a lot of people are panicking right now, a lot of people are scratching their heads and are in speculated mode, it's hard to make out with what we could see of this later down the line. I don't want to be like, oh no, it's over. It's over. Oh no. Oh no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to panic. I feel like just chill, wait it out, and see what happens. Gojuger's been killing it. I'm really enjoying Gojuger. We're like almost at the end of the season. And like I said, usually around this time, the trademark bot will probably go live with the next trademark of the upcoming Super Sentai. And if that is true, that is there is listings out there for the next Sentai season, like leaks and rumors and stuff like that, then Toei could be cooking something, but
Like bone broth?
we probably find out what the name is. And then if it's going to end on TV Ayashi, then it's probably going to go to a new network. Fingers crossed that whoever this new network is can pull some strings to get like worldwide streaming like we're getting with Kamen Rider.
Yes.
But I doubt we'll get something like that. So a lot of people say that Hasbro was meddling involved with that.
Oh
Because,
yeah.
I don't know, Hasbro is fucking weird, dudes.
Damn.
Especially with this whole like Ninja Kids AI drama and stuff like that surrounding it.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that was
Kid-
going on.
Not Ninja Kids.
Oh my
It's been a while
God.
since I talked about the Ninja Kids drama. I don't know. Hasbro and Toei and Super Sentai's relationship is fucking weird.
For those that don't know, let me pull up what the Ninja Kids are. It was basically like a family channel based on like a bunch of kids doing a whole bunch of skits based on being ninjas because these kids are very athletic. It's basically this was a very popular and if you've heard of Ninja Kids, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They were like really popular. Hang on. Yeah, here's their channel, and I have not seen anything about the AI thing recently. So yeah, this is basically their what they do now for modern content. But when you look up their most popular videos, it's basically a whole bunch of superhero stuff and physical stuff and and yeah, you get the idea. And I do believe that they were sponsored like by a bunch of toy brands back many years ago because they wanted to work with the Ninja Kids and yeah, but you get the idea. Let's go back to the video real quick.
Dudes. Like, even I can't wrap my head around it, but it's probably why we don't see a lot of Shout Factory releases for Super Sentais, because Hasbro's been shit. Been shit cunts, I'll just say that. But, yeah, I thought I'd have more of a reaction of this, but like I said, when this news dropped, it's been like 24 hours since it's dropped, so I've gone to work, I've slept, I've had a full day ahead of me since this news dropped, so I don't know. I guess like I haven't been hit too hard by it, but
It really,
it
yeah,
is what it is. I'm sure that like if Super Sentai ends when it ends, I mean, Super
we'll all
Sentai,
be fine.
where is it? Super Sentai did take a break after Jaka because the ratings took a nosedive, so maybe Super Sentai is going to take another break. Who knows?
Yeah, Kamen Rider has done that as well. They've taken like breaks between seasons in the past because like maybe Kamen Rider's not doing so well for whatever reason. And hey, it eventually paid off, right? So it could be that. I don't mind seeing Super Sentai taking a break for around like a few years or something. Or as long as the spirit of Super Sentai is still alive, I'm sure people will be happy about it. And yeah.
We have no idea at this point, but yeah, I honestly don't know how to fully react to this. I mean, I'm sure you've seen grifting channels out there or
Oh yeah, this
people who want to
is a
report on this
fine.
because it's a hot topic right now,
Oh
talk
yeah.
about it and give their thoughts, even though they don't watch a lot of Super Sentai. I'm sure there's that. But yeah, like I said, I know I'm not having much of a visual reaction because I've had 24 hours to sink this in. Like if it rebrands, it rebrands. I'm just waiting for that trademark to drop, which I get the feeling that when it drops, then I can make my video on that next trademark. And once we get the next trademark, and if we get the next trademark, that might give us clues with what to expect with this quote-unquote rebrand. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Let's
We'll
see.
see what happens. So yes and no, Super Sentai is getting cancelled. It's just rebranding and it's being taken off the network. It's been airing for so long. So We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But anyway, guys, what do you think of this news? Are you excited? Are you not excited? Tell me in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. And with that said, I will catch you guys next time.
All right, see ya. So, yeah, basically, Super Sentai is likely to be rebranded, and in this next video, we're going to be going over the new name from what people have heard. It's basically based off of a screenshot that in Thailand, and I'm pretty sure that's in the video as well. So, okay, so with that being said, this next video we're going to be going over is Super Sentai Gone Forever, Universe Heroes Rises by the Legacy of Nerd. So, with that being said, let's watch this, just to give you more detail as to what Universe Heroes is and why they're rebranding the name to that.
Dead. Long live the Universe Heroes. Let's talk about it.
Right.
Welcome to the Legacy of Nerd. My name is Daniel, and we got some news on the future of Super Sentai. So if you guys remember, we got the report last week from Oricon, which is a Japanese media company, that Super Sentai would be ending and no longer airing on TV aside. Then we got a report from Ranger Board saying that that was technically true, but it was misleading because Super Sentai was indeed ending, but was going to be rebranded under a new name. And we got some news this morning on that. So we got this from Cartoon Club, which is the Thailand distributor of Super Sentai. And it's a new ad that was posted on their official Facebook account, and it names them the Universe Heroes. And we have our new name for Super Sentai, Universe Heroes. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty generic. It's pretty bland, I have to say. A lot of the comments that I've seen so far agree with it. I don't know if the information's really gotten out very far yet, but it does seem like the new name of Super Sentai is going to be Universe Heroes. Now, we got a report last week from Kyoto that the ending of Super Sentai was going to be due to the lack of profits made from toy sales, appearances, etc., right?
Yes.
And that it's no longer able to cover production costs. So they're basically operating in the red, and they don't like to do that. So that's why they were going to end it. And when you put that together with the Ranger Board information, it actually makes sense that they would rebrand to make themselves more marketable, to bring up toy sales, like to make excitement over a new name, right? And I kind of get that. Now, a lot of people thought that them rebranding with a new name is a way to them to get around the contract they have with Hasbro to bring Super Sentai to the West and to the United States mostly. And with this image and seeing all the past iterations of Red Heroes on here, I can immediately tell you that's not going to be the case. I think the only way that would have worked is if they rebranded with a new name and basically erased their history of Super Sentai, or started from a new point, right? A new point, and that was where they were going to operate from now on, and forget the whole history of Super Sentai, and that's how they would get around it. But if they're going to bring the history of Super Sentai into Universe Heroes, they're not going to be able to get around the contract. That's not how it's going to work. Now, the contract prevents Toei from airing Super Sentai, or now Universe Heroes, in the United States or its territories in the West, right?
That sucks.
And it's locked to like Japan, Thailand, and a couple other areas as well. And so that's where it keeps that. And I think the main part of that is that it keeps toys off of retailer shelves like Target, Walmart. Like, you can't bring Super Sentai toys to America. Like, you can import them, but you can't like freely sell them on toy shelves. And that is the issue. And so I do not think Super Sentai is coming to the United States based off this ad, unless this is just a preliminary ad and we are starting from a new point and they do change aspects of the show, but it does not look like it's really coming to the West.
Damn.
It looks like it's just going to rebrand under a new name and probably air on a new TV station in Japan as well.
Yeah.
Not that it matters for us because we don't get it. So
exactly.
Now I do see them as a way of rebranding the name, of now making a way for collectors to have to buy new versions of the toys that previously existed. So
that's pretty good, actually.
Daijuzin, Dai Ranger, Kaku Ranger, all the iterations, I feel like they might reissue a bunch of old brands and toys and put them under the new logo and under the new brand name. And then collectors will have to buy the new ones to have a fully complete set. And I think that's what is kind of the plan here, is that they're going to maybe relaunch a line and put it under a new name. So people have to buy the new name. Also, maybe just to they feel like maybe it's stale. And, people are like, oh, it's Super Sentai. It's kind of like, really the same thing that Power Rangers is here. It's like, oh, it's just another Power Rangers. It's another Super Sentai. So like, oh, they changed their name. Let me look at this. Let me look into this. And maybe that is a way of kind of just like making more excitement around, the franchise. I don't know what is going to happen with the future of Super Sentai Power Rangers. I guess Universe Heroes and Power Rangers and how that's going to work. But it definitely seems like, Power Rangers is going its own direction, and Universe Heroes is going to go in its own directions as well. But yeah, that's what we got so far. Not too much news other than the name, and I feel like the community was kind of just like, all right, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. It just feels like, Super Sentai is such like you've built up this name. Why discard it? Like, why would you get rid of it? That's my opinion on it. Like, if you're just gonna rename it to Universe Heroes and call it something else, why not just call it Super Sentai Universe Hero Era or something like that? Like,
yeah, that would actually be a good idea, because Universe Heroes is just like a bland name. Super Sentai, it sounds more like Japan, more like what Japan. I'm sorry. When you think of the name like Universe Heroes, it's just like, you think of it as just like an American show, right? Because it's in English. Super Sentai, now that sounds Japanese. It sounds like something that uniquely belongs to Japan, which makes sense considering that Super Sentai is Japanese. And it just sounds way better. Sentai just sounds awesome. I mean, why else would they put Sentai onto their titles for every new season of for most seasons of Super Sentai? Because Sentai just sounds like cool and strong. It just sounds better than Universe Heroes. But yeah,
make the era names actually like brandable, right? And I don't know if that's my thoughts on it. I just don't think throwing away 50 years of brand awareness is a good idea. But that's just me. Maybe I'm totally wrong and this totally works and Super Sentai revitalizes itself the way it wants to, and you never know. But yeah, so October was really big for us. We grew over 15,000 followers over all our platforms, and we grew really, really big amount of number here on YouTube. We got almost 1,000 new subscribers here on YouTube. So thank you for keeping up with us here on the Legacy of Nerd. We have more things coming this month. On November might be a little bit light. I am getting married this month, so I do have things I need to take care of, but I'll try to keep on producing content. If not, you can always...
Oh boy, was he wrong on that. I'll explain that in just a minute.
Find me on Instagram and Facebook posting. Just the videos may slow down just a little bit this month, but hopefully we get a couple new ones up. But guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think. What do you think about the new name Universe Heroes? What do you hope for the future of Universe Heroes? Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and y'all know what time it is. It's Morphin time.
Yeah. All right. With that being said, that's really it for the news involving the Super Sentai rebranding. Now, I wasn't originally going to make this episode, but what made me want to do this episode was the news that came at the same time that Super Sentai was being rebranded or supposedly canceled, which is that the Black Ranger of the current Super Sentai series, number 1 Sentai Gozyuger, Maya Imamori, who plays Sumino, who is Goju Unicorn, the Black Ranger of the series, was actually fired from both the show and her agency due to underage drinking. Now, the fan base was very divided. There were some people who were like, yeah, she needed to be held accountable, and there was like a lot more people going like they were very upset because Japan is very strict on underage drinking, and there's a lot of shame in that in Japan. It's kind of a cultural thing, and there's nothing we can really like do about it. But I get why the people who are upset about it are really upset, because our drinking age is like under 20. Our drinking age in the United States is like 21, and Japan's drinking age is actually only 20, believe it or not. But here in the West, we don't see as much shame as just regular. I'm sorry. But here in the West, there's not really much shame into people just drinking underage, because, hey, it happens a lot very often in the U.S., and people often make mistakes. And yeah, and we do value redemption here in the United States. In Japan, though, discipline, punishment, and cultural tradition do seem to play more of a factor in Japan. So basically, Maya Imamori ended up getting fired due to underage drinking, and there were also a lot of people angry at how Toys handled her over the past few months. Allegedly, there was some racism that might have been involved in relations against Maya Imamori because of the fact that she is half Filipina, and basically this caused a division within the Super Sentai community. So with that being said, let's go over the first video by Heirloom, basically going over how people reacted here in the West, how people reacted to Maya Imamori being fired. So with that being said, let's watch this video.
In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the departure of Maya Imamori from Gozyuger. She plays Goju Unicorn due to the fact that she was drinking underage. And I'm kind of curious to know, did she tell people this, or was she snitched on? But we're going to go through an article or two, and then we're going to look at the response, and I'm going to kind of give my thoughts on this. There has been an official statement from Toei, which we'll look at in a moment. But it says, like, number one, Sentai Gozyuger announces Maya Imamori's departure due to underage drinking. Now, this basically goes through everything, and there's one thing that kind of makes me go, huh? So, obviously, we know that she's 19, and this is what's coming up here. On the 8th, TV Ashi's Super Sentai series, number one Sentai Gozyuger updated its official site to announce that the actress Maya Imamori, who is 19, will be stepping down from the show. We have received a report from Toei, the production company, that they would like to ask actress Imamori Maya, it's really weird because it's the other way around, to step down from the future productions due to her drinking behavior while under the age of 20. The company said in a statement, "In light of the seriousness of the situation, our company has agreed to request the step down," the company announced. "We will work together with Toei to respond sincerely to prevent the reoccurrence and will continue to ensure strict compliance. We will also take appropriate measures, etc., etc." But it says that in September, some reports surfaced alleging that Imamori had an affair with a co-star and was in a two-timing relationship with a professional soccer player. Now, I had heard a few things, but apparently they're all like false, and I'm more inclined to believe the people that know more about this sort of stuff. So, yeah, take that with a grain of salt if you want. So this is the official apology from Toei, and it says, "Apology and announcement regarding the cast of Gozyuger. Thank you for your continued support of our program. Gozyuger, it has come to our attention that Maya Imamori, who appeared on the show, engaged in conduct that violated the law prohibiting the consumption of alcohol by persons under the age of 20. We offer our deepest apologies for the concern and inconvenience that has caused to our viewers, as well as the program's sponsors and related parties." Now, I would imagine that this is more to do with the sponsors and related parties more than anything, only because I don't think a lot of people would care that she had a beer or a few sips of beer. Now, if she went on a massive bender and like caused damage to property, 100% can agree.
Yeah.
But if she's just had one sip of a drink and someone's like reported her and she's like, "Oh yeah, actually I had one drink," that's where I think is completely out of the line that someone snitched on her. But I think that because of the sponsors and the related parties, they don't want to lose it. Hey, we're effectively launching a brand new series next year. We need all the sponsors and we need the related parties to be on board with this so that we don't lose it. That is what I kind of think on that one. And I think it's really shit that they haven't helped one of their uprising stars to actually go through stuff if drinking. So they could have helped her, they could have supported her a lot more, rather than just, yeah, get out, you drank a sip, fuck off. That's effectively it. So in the background, we received a report of Maya Imamori's agency regarding her drinking behavior while under the age of 20. The response, we take this matter seriously and in the interest of those compliant, had decided to take the following measures. Termination of the casting contract and withdrawal. We have discussed with TV Ashi the termination of Maya Imamori's contract, and she will be stepping down from the number one Sentai Gozyuger. 3. Preventing reoccurrence and our attitude towards the program production. Going forward, we will strengthen cooperation with the relevant parties to thoroughly instruct our cast members on social responsibility and ethics, and we will also re-educate all those involved in the production program production, on compliance awareness, striving to produce even more reliable programs. We once again apologize for this incident, which has damaged the trust of our viewers. Now, I guarantee, like, the kids watching Super Sentai aren't going to be, I can guarantee that the audience of Super Sentai aren't going to be watching Maya's, like, every like step. Exactly. I don't think, like, you know, you're gonna have people following her around and being like, oh she walked past a vending machine that has alcohol, let's get rid of her. I highly doubt that 100%. I feel like this is a way that they just wanted to get rid of her, from what I've been hearing, and what a few people have been saying. And stuff like that. That wouldn't surprise me that this is a way out. When you're trying to pin something or trying to get rid of someone, then you would instantly want to try and get them in a bad light so that you can say, well, she broke her contract and the law. The simple thing to this would be, do not hire people under the age of 20 in your production to stop this from happening. I know that you have young actresses and actors wanting to break in, and this is their big, like, debut type thing. But if you're worried about this, then don't hire people under the age of 20. Exactly. It makes a lot more sense rather than just like fucking them off later on. Maya, exactly. I would like to sincerely apologize for the inconvenience and concern caused to many of you due to my indignity behavior. Drinking while being a minor is a very shameful act as an employee and a human being, and it is not acceptable for any reason. I painfully realize the gravity of my actions, and I am deeply reflecting on it. Once again, I apologize to all my fans and associates who have supported me so far, and to all my performers and co-stars for the inconvenience caused. Throughout this case, I will reflect on myself as immature for the fact that I have betrayed my trust, and sincerely reflect on my lifestyle so that I don't allow this to happen again. I'm very sorry for this. November 8th, 2025. Imamori. Seeing this, I feel like she shouldn't have to be like this, have to kind of like beat herself up over it, because you made one mistake, and you know, if it wasn't a massive bender, like, you know, going around drinking everything, I generally think that you would probably be fine. But also, it's kind of interesting who would kind of like,
if this same type of story happened in America, I don't think she would have faced repercussions at all, because it's just a genuine mistake from the looks of it.
Talk about this, who would like alert people to it. So when I was watching Deoxy's video, he mentioned this person, Nati, and this is something that I have heard about the smear campaign, as I mentioned. But let's read the tweet. It's not about Gozyuger being ruined. It's about the fact that there's been a smear campaign against her for months and no one defended her or did anything. They did their best to find something to get rid of their problem, and they did. It's about the fact that they ruined her. They all failed a young girl with dreams and hopes. She had a boyfriend at 15, and that was a bad thing. Older men preyed on her, and it wasn't her fault. Tabloids were against her, and it was her fault too. No one helped her. Now, I do think that them not helping her has been really fucking shit. I generally think that they should have stepped in to help her. These smear campaigns that came along, Toei and her agency should have stepped in and kind of like...
And this is not the first time Toei's been in trouble by some people because of situations similar to this. They have not taken a sexual assault seriously, from what I have heard as well. And I think there was even someone in the YouTube comments in another video at some point saying that they even hired a murderer, like, onto their, like, some anime series of some sort, and it's freaking insane. Japan has really, they value things really differently. They value some really messed up things over some simple mistakes. And sadly, this is all because of, and sadly, it is, I think this does have to do with the culture of Japan, and they do see things differently than we do. And, inevitably, these cultures are going to have to end up clashing together at some point, especially with the whole Super Sentai being rebranded to being exposed to the world or whatever. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of cultural clashing for something like this. This is, I would imagine this getting really ugly in the future, for sure.
gone through everything and actually try to help her. And I think that is the main case, because I know the industry can really prey on young girls, and that is absolutely shit. That should not be allowed. But hearing about this, that they're not even helping her through the smear campaign, because apparently they said that she had been in a romantic relationship or slept with one of the stunt people from Gozyuger.
Wow.
There is another tweet here. Great, just great. Her dreams have ended all because of baseless gossip. Toye, I appreciate your continued efforts to sell toys and make great shows, but how about doing better in protecting your talent? I'm very sorry to see this happen. Her reputation is now smeared. This whole situation fucking sucks. It's horrifying just how much of baseless rumors can easily ruin the careers of people in Japan entertainment history. So the official Gozyuger website has taken down her profile on the show, and I feel like that's really shit. Like, it's going to be weird seeing how many episodes that she's going to be in and then suddenly just disappearing. But to
Oh yeah, by the way, Sumino is going to be like edited out. Was edited out in episode 37, and she's expected to be edited out in episode 38 and 39. And in episode 40, there's going to be a new person who's going to be replacing Maya Imamori as Sumino. There were initial claims that Sumino's sister in the show, Oto, might be the new Black Ranger, but yeah, that's basically what I know about this.
Swiftly take her off, I think, is really shit. I generally think it's so fucking shit. I know this is going to completely damage her reputation within the industry. Japan is very strict, and I think they like their actors or actresses not to have any controversy or anything like that around them. So it may be a lot harder for her to find work within the industry, and I really hope that she can find work. I don't think she should be like blacklisted from the industry for just having a drink, a few months before she hit 20, when you have a lot more problematic people out there. Like, I don't see this as a huge thing whatsoever. I see this as a way that if they wanted to get rid of her, this is the perfect way to pin her. In my opinion, I do generally think that there is a lot more to this, and I feel like this, that there is a deeper thing on the reason why they didn't want her to be there anymore. A lot of fans right now are talking about who is going to replace her, and I generally think it will be her sister in the show. I feel like
that's what we all thought, but it turns out that's actually not true. This was posted before we got the news about who was going to about who will be the new person playing Sumino. Who, you get the idea.
Will have like the death of the main character Sumino, and she will literally take her ring and she will go over to her sister, place it on her finger. She will become Gozyuger Unicorn. She will be the new Black Ranger, and the character will die. She will just die off and we'll never see her again, or she'll lose the confidence like Ryuji did when his ring went to someone else, but it will be her sister because she obviously had the power. It'll be something like that. I don't think it's going to be some grand thing where they just take her out completely, because that's not the way. But I do see the fact that they will remove the character in a certain way and probably have to go and refilm all the episodes that obviously she's in, because we know Gozyuger films 3 months in advance, so they'd have to go back and refilm that. So it's going to be a really big thing. Luckily, they probably got a load of the people in suits doing their stuff, so that's fine. There's a lot of character stuff that would have to be reshot. I'm really sorry that Maya has to go through all of this right now. I generally think her drinking one beer or whatever shouldn't be literally slapped, but again, Japanese law is Japanese law. It's just really fucking shit. Yeah. Anyway, what do you think about all of this? Let me know down below in the comments and let's discuss. And while you're down there, why not hit the...
Yeah, it sounds like that's it for this one. Yeah, basically that's the summary of what happened to the Maya Imamori situation. But there is a YouTuber by the name of of Hercules who ends up going a lot more detail about this, which I think is actually really good, and that's what I want to go over. I do want to speed this up a bit because this video is pretty long. And yeah, with that being said, here's a basic summary of the Maya Imamori situation.
I am going to talk about the Maya Imamori Gozyuger.
Oh, never mind. That's not it's too damn fast. That's not a good idea. Never mind.
Unicorn situation in this video, and I'm going to try to do so with as much nuance and perspective about the whole thing that it deserves, because it is a very slippery situation on both sides. And I'm going to start with the facts of the situation and then go more into my thoughts and the temperature of the entire fandom right now as a whole. And when I say facts of the situation, I'm going to read you excerpts from the Bunshan articles, including the original article that came out accusing Maya of being in an affair with Kosei Asai, Goju Wolf's former suit actor, as well as the second article published by them that accuses Maya of cheating on her boyfriend at the time with Kosei Asai. And I think it's important to read these articles, not because I think they're factual in any sort of way, but because it gives perspective on what a lot of people are claiming to be factual, or a lot of people are claiming to be completely fabricated stories against Maya as a smear campaign, people citing things such as racism and xenophobia and misogyny of the Japanese media, and people perpetuating the things that are said in these articles. Now, like I said, I don't think these articles are 100% factual, and we'll get to that at the end of kind of going through them. But what I do think is important is to read from the source of where it came from, because so far, looking around online, I haven't seen these full articles posted anywhere, but what I have seen is misinformation on top of misinformation on top of misinformation on top of gossip. And I wanted you guys to have some place to go to see just what the actual articles state and what is not stated in them, but being, you know, pushed around online, so that you can get a more filled in idea and a more informed view on whatever your perception may be of the situation. So I'm going to try to do this in the most unedited, most respectful way possible. But if you do see a few cuts from here and there, it's because I either got lost on a thought or was tripping over my words a little too much. And I wanted to make this just an easy video to watch for you guys. So
understandable.
Without further ado, let's read the first Bunshan article, which, like I said, was behind a paywall that I've purchased a month subscription to Bunshan for, just to avoid any kind of copyright with them. I'll probably be cutting this out into just the excerpts.
Now, to be clear, I believe they are referring to the suit actor, not the actor who plays Hoeru, who is the character that transforms into Goju Wolf.
Of the article that I think are truly important to the story. It says, Gozyuger Red leaves the show due to an affair with Black within the Sentai. And this was published on September 10th of 2025. I do just want to point out, January 26th of 2025, Kosei Asai mentioned that this would be his last Sentai he was working on anyways. He does say at the end, best believe I'll be on the final live tour nationwide stages. So take that as you will. The article says, this year marks the 50th anniversary of the Super Sentai series, and the commemorative production Gozyuger sees the 5 heroes transform into creatures based on the Super Sentai series, such as animals and dinosaurs. I do want to point out this is also using Google Translate, so you will see a few inconsistencies or misspellings, mistranslations throughout the thing. We'll kind of sweep it up and put it all together at the end. It's a unique story in which heroes fight against evil organizations while also fighting among themselves for the title of strongest. All 49 main characters from the series are scheduled to appear. The popularity of suit actors who transform into suit actors and perform action scenes without revealing their faces is also on the rise. Fans flock to the superhero shows in which they appear. In the past, they were seen as behind-the-scenes actors, but in this film, the suit actors' names are listed alongside their character names in the credits. The main character of Gozyuger is Sentai Red Goju Wolf. He has an extraordinary sense of smell like a wolf and transforms by howling. The suit actor for this role is Kosuke Asai, 41. He is a top suit actor. He has played both the main character Red and Kamen Rider Ichigo in the Super Sentai series, a feat only 3 people have achieved in the past, including him. His action scenes are powerful and cool while maintaining a physique that is not far removed from the slim build of the young actors who play the characters before transformation. In this film, he was personally nominated to play Red by the producer, who was impressed by Asai's acting. On September 1st, it was announced that Asai would step down due to a worsening chronic illness and be replaced by another suit actor. However, the chronic illness had undergone a, quote, transformation for a real reason, as the production staff hushed up to reveal.
Wow.
Even though Asai had a wife and children, he had an affair with the Sentai. His partner is the heroine who fought alongside him. She is 19 years old and plays the untransformed version of the first female black warrior in history, Goju Unicorn, Imamori Maya. She is originally from the Miyazaki Prefecture and is half Japanese and half Filipino. After winning the Miss Magazine Grand Prix in 2023, she has frequently appeared on the covers of manga magazines, the aforementioned reporter said. Imamori's character is intentionally charming and plays a so-called cute and cunning character. To prepare for the role, I watched the programs of my senior at the agency, Mori Kasumi, who is also known as the Reiwa era's Azato Queen, to study cunning. She herself has always been proactive in love and has always been a bit risky, said an acquaintance of Imamori. It is not clear whether Asai said Goju Wolf's catchphrase, "You are my prey," but he began attacking Imamori shortly after the show began in February of this year. This seems so incredibly unneeded and just like a weird and gross thing to say right off the bat. Asai sent Imamori a direct message on social media and they immediately hit it off and started dating. In between his busy schedules filming, Asai would invite Imamori over to his house when his wife wasn't around and vice versa, said a person acquaintance of the two. However, their relationship did not last long, as another man showed a keen sense of smell similar to Wolf's. It was Asai's wife. She was furious and contacted Imamori's agency. Then, an off-field battle broke out between Asai's wife and Imamori. His wife wanted Imamori to explain the situation to her personally, but her agency refused. Asai apologized profusely to his wife, saying, "It's my fault." This summer, Toei, the production company for the show, also learned of the company's affair. Toei discussed how to proceed and decided that only Asai would step down. His departure caused a change in the filming schedule. A rift has developed between Imamori, who caused the commotion, and the other co-stars. The filming site is in chaos, said the staff member mentioned above. How would the person involved respond? We asked Asai directly. Did he leave the show because of his affair with Imamori? Who is saying that? From multiple people. Who is it? Were you having an affair? Whispering, no. Although he denied it midway through, his voice was far from Wolf. Imamori's agency said, "We are currently verifying the facts internally," when asked about Asai's reason for leaving the show due to an affair, Toei said. "We are not in a position to comment on the private lives of our cast members," the company responded. Asai has stated he intends to retire from suit acting. The price of his change of heart was too high. Right off the bat, there are a couple things I find just disgusting with this article. One, comparing Goju Wolf's suit actor to his, children's show character.
Yeah, that's
a couple
up,
times
man.
in there, talking about "you are my prey" and his sense of smell.
Yeah, that's really awkward. That is really awkward. That basically just makes him sound like a predator. And I'm like, damn.
And everything, and likening the situation to that of, a children's TV show seems kind of gross, even for a TMZ style tabloid the way Bunshan is in Japan. So that didn't sit right.
I heard that Bunshan is a source of fake news from what I've heard. I'm not sure if it's Bunshan exactly or if it's another news media. But yeah.
With me as I was reading this right away. But then they wrote a second article a week later discussing more of Maya's personal life. This is from September 17th of 2025, and it says, "Is Black Warrior Imamori Maya cheating on the Japanese national soccer team member?" The suit actor for the main character, Sentai Red Goju Wolf, is married Kosuke Asai, 41, and the actor who plays the untransformed Black Warrior Goju Unicorn, 19. Asai stepped down from the show after an affair between the two was discovered. When Shukan Bushan magazine reported the incident, it caused a stir. Toei, the production company, initially announced the change due to Asai's worsening chronic illness, but it was revealed that this was just a pretense after the news of the affair broke. There were criticisms that it's not something children can watch. However, filming has already been completed for the next 2 to 3 months, so it's difficult to make any further changes to the cast or content, said a source close to the show. Former Miss Magazine model Imamori, who is currently on the rise in popularity, has been caught up in an unexpected scandal. Her past ex posts are also a hot topic. I'm watching Lupat right now. The actors are so cool, it's exhausting. I don't want to watch it anymore.
I don't think I said this before. When they mean by Lupat, they mean Lupin Ranger versus Pata Ranger, which is a versus Sentai series where two teams like go against each other to where the Pata Rangers try to aim to catch the Lupin Rangers and arrest them for basically being thieves, and the Lupin Rangers are trying to gather the Lupin collection in order to get their loved ones back.
It's exhausting. Exhausting. I love how cool they are. April 25th, 2019, now deleted. Lupat is Kaito Sentai Lupin Ranger versus Keisatsu Sentai Pat Ranger, broadcast in 2018, in which Asai was the suit actor for the lead role. In other words, at the time of posting, she was making her love for Asai public. In fact, even on the set of Gozyuger, she looked upon Asai's physical abilities with great respect and openly declared to those around her that he was irresistibly cool. I think this one's kind of a low blow because 2019 being 6 years ago, Maya was 13, watching Super Sentai, really into it, talking about how she loved Lupat and the actors. I don't know if she would have known the suit actor of Kosuke Asai at the time, but digging up this old tweet seems very much like a low blow, and you're just looking for something that you can throw up there and say, look, see, even back then she loved Asai, where this tweet, 1, doesn't mention Asai at all. 2, we talked about in the past article about how now suit actors were being more renowned than they used to be. That didn't exist back in the time of Lupat. It does. As a 13-year-old, I don't even think you would have known who Kosuke Asai is at that time. As a young actress, it is not surprising that she got too immersed in her cute.
And to be fair, there are many Super Sentai fans who probably don't even know who Kosuke Asai was. And there's still some that probably don't know who he is still.
And cunning role and made a mistake. However, Asai was not her number one. An acquaintance of Imamori spoke in a hushed voice. In fact, Imamori-san had another boyfriend that she was in a serious relationship with. Her boyfriend, Yutaka Michiwaki, 19, a professional soccer player who was selected for the Japan U20 under-20 national team this year and participated in the Asian Cup. It is said that their relationship is well known to close acquaintances. Photos of Michiwaki's face frequently appear on Imamori's private social media account, and images that appear to be line conversations between the two are also posted. They also seem to have occasional lovers quarrels, and sometimes Michiwaki.
Okay, again, I'm so sorry for the interruption. I'm going to have to go back 10 seconds and let's continue watching.
Are also posted. They also seem to have occasional lovers quarrels, and sometimes Michiwaki expresses anger towards her, saying 2 years have been wasted, Imamori's acquaintance mentioned above said. Again, weird low blow that has nothing to do with the article at hand, but there might be something in here that helps us debunk this whole situation. Let's read on. She had planned to go back to Belgium to meet Michiwaki and had discussed her schedule with his agency. When Michiwaki returned to Japan in May of this year, they apparently enjoyed a date in his hometown of Kumamoto, the source said. So we know that in May of this year, they were still dating, and the previous article stated that the relationship between Maya and Kosuke would have started in February when the show started. They usually have a long-distance relationship between Japan and Europe. To ease her loneliness, Imamori may have started cheating on him with an adult nearby. Imamori's agency stated that they were confirming the facts regarding the affair, but when asked again about her two-timing relationship with Michiwaki, they responded primarily as follows. After confirming the facts with all parties involved, we have found that they are not currently in a relationship, nor have they ever been seen cheating on each other in the past. Did she break up with Michiwaki? We asked Michiwaki's agent, but we received no response by the deadline. Maya's agency, Seju, was researching the facts a week earlier when asked, and finally in this article from a week later had confirmed the facts that her and her boyfriend, Michiwaka, at least her boyfriend at the time, had never been seen cheating on each other in the past, which means if they were still together in May, this relationship was going on 2 years, and This relationship between Kosei Asai and Maya was claimed to have been started in February, then therefore the second article just debunks the first. A lot of what I'm seeing online is people saying that the cheating allegations about Maya Imamori were baseless, and Bunshan themselves, the people who brought those allegations to light, seem to disprove it in their second article. Seiju, the agency, researched the facts with all parties and basically said that they had never been seen cheating on each other, which that right there means the relationship with Kosei Asai couldn't have happened if the agency has done their research well. Which brings us to Friday night when this was posted on Toei's website. It says, apology and announcement regarding the cast of number 1 Sentai Gozyuger. Thank you for your continued support of our program, number 1 Sentai Gozyuger. It has come to our attention that Maya Imamori, who appeared on the number 1 Sentai Gozyuger, engaged in conduct that violated the law prohibiting the consumption of alcohol by persons under the age of 20. We offer our deepest apologies for the concern and inconvenience this has caused to our viewers, as well as to the program's sponsors and other related parties. Number 1, background. We received a report from Maya Imamori's agency regarding her drinking behavior while under the age of 20. Number 2, program response. We take this matter seriously and in the interest of thorough compliance have decided to take the following measures. Termination of casting contract and withdrawal. We have discussed with TV Asahi the termination of Maya Imamori's contract, and she will be stepping down from number 1 Sentai Gozyuger. Number 3, preventing reoccurrence and our attitude toward program production going forward. We will strengthen cooperation with relevant parties to thoroughly instruct our cast members on social responsibilities and ethics, and will also re-educate all those involved in programming production on compliance awareness, striving to produce even more reliable programs. We once again apologize for this incident, which has damaged the trust of our viewers. Following this, Maya Imamori wiped her Instagram account and left one white picture with the following apology. It said, I would like to offer my sincere apologies for the trouble and concern I have caused to so many people due to my thoughtless actions. Drinking alcohol while underage is extremely shameful, both as a member of society and as a human being, and is unacceptable for any reason. I am keenly aware of the gravity of my actions and deeply regret them. I would like to once again apologize to all the fans who have supported me, all those involved, and all the productions and co-stars I have appeared in for the great trouble I have caused. Through this incident, I have reflected on my own immaturity, taken seriously the fact that I betrayed their trust, and will sincerely re-examine my way of life so this will never happen again. I am truly sorry for this. November 8th, 2025, Imamori, Maya. This next part I have only found one source for. It is from akinews.net. And it is a Kamen Rider and Super Sentai fan site run out of Japan. It says, Imamori, Maya's agency, and Toei remained silent even after the Bunshan bombshell about her affair and two-timing. Bunshan dug deeper into Imamori and discovered a video of her drinking alcohol on TikTok. Bunshan reported to the agency that underage drinking may be a problem. To avoid a third Bunshan bomb, the agency reported the incident to Toei. Is it true that Toei, unable to tolerate this any longer, asked TV Asahi to remove her from the program? This is a note from Aki themselves. It says, I thought that underage drinking was a cover for infidelity and that Toei was being lenient. But was that really the case? If it's 3 outs, infidelity, cheating, and underage drinking, then there's really nothing that can be done. I watched episode 37 of number 1 Sentai Gozyuger that aired the next day after all that happened, and Maya is completely cut from the episode. Every scene where she should be is zoomed in, or she's removed or cropped out in some way until Goju Unicorn appears in suit.
Yes, and there was a different voice actor who ended up playing Sumino for the next few episodes. So yeah, I forgot what the name of that person is, but yeah, it is a different voice actress. And you're not going to play, huh?
It's a completely different voice actress. You can straight up tell that that is not Maya Imamori's voice from the episode. It was shown in last week's preview that Maya was recorded for everything. You can see her throughout the preview. In fact, the preview for this week's episode was taken off of the airing, but in a rerun, that preview accidentally aired with it. And as you can see, it was a very Maya Imamori Sumino focused episode that had to deal with Sumino quitting being a detective and doing things with Oto, her sister, and would eventually lead to her debut as Ryo Tegasword Goju Unicorn, a form that we have yet to see in the show. But for now, we don't know what next week's going to look like. We don't know what that episode will air as, whether we will just get a recap show because it is a fully Sumino-focused episode, and it's kind of hard to cut her out of an episode that's all about her, or if the episode will air unchanged. That is everything we factually know. There were some claims that a lot of this was centered in racism and xenophobia. The only type of thing that I could see that mentions her being half Filipino at all is that original Bunshan article, and that original Bunshan article seems to be more of a hit piece on the suit actor Kosuke Asai rather than Maya. But Maya does get dragged in, obviously, in that second article and smeared upon a lot more in that second article that was, September 2 months ago, all leading up to her eventual dismissal from Gozyuger, which happened this last weekend. So while the claims of this being rooted in racism don't seem completely factual, at least from what I've seen, I've also seen a lot of vitriol online between the two fandoms, the English-speaking fandom and the Japanese-speaking fandom, whereas the Japanese-speaking fandom are pretty convinced that this woman was not only fired for underage drinking, but also cheated on her boyfriend and had an affair with a 40-year-old married man. As you saw from that Aki News article, it's pretty cut and dry what their opinion on it is. The English fandom, on the other side, is very much in the camp that this girl's agency, Toei, any adult around this 19-year-old failed to protect her from anything going on around her, whether it be the choice to, sleep with a 40-year-old man, if that is part of the story. Like I said, I really think they debunked that in those articles. Whoever the adults were that gave her alcohol and then allowed her to post it on TikTok. And I say all these things fully knowing how it sounds. This is a 19-year-old woman. This is an adult. She can take responsibility for her choices.
Absolutely.
She has agency. Do I think she's completely 100 knows what she's doing? No, none of us do. So to say that would be weird. But I think to talk about grooming as an adult and to talk about like how people should have stopped her from doing this stuff kind of takes away her agency and demeans her and makes her less. And I didn't want to do that. I do think she understands her responsibility and the weight and gravity of her choices. Does that mean she didn't make mistakes? No. Does that mean that everyone around her also kind of failed her and not helping her with those choices and mistakes? Kind of as well, because as a 19-year-old starting out in this idol system, which you can do any kind of research across the internet, it is flawed, it is exploitation a lot of the time. And a lot of people don't kind of come out on the other side in the best mindset. And I want to say to Maya Imamori, there's just no chance you're watching this, but I really hope you have a support system in place, people who care for you and people who are on your side, watching your back and helping you through this terrible time. From all the other research I've done, it seems like this was a choice from Seiju, Maya's agency, to drop her, and in that case, they dropped her, and Toei just has to kind of deal with it. I don't think there's anything that points to Toei wanting to recut and re-edit 3 months worth of things that they had already shot. Toei is on a schedule now where they shoot 6 months in advance, and so they already have all these episodes done. There's no way, especially because they have this rebrand coming to Universe Heroes, which we've heard rumblings of. It's because they're not making as much money as they would like to with Super Sentai. They're already kind of broke on that front. But if that's the truth, then they definitely don't want to go back and have to redo months and months and months of work that's already done, already shot. It's already sent to places like China to get reviewed for censorship, because that's the whole reason they moved the shooting schedule back so far into this new earlier shooting schedule. So what I'm seeing online and what I'm agreeing with is that a
know
lot
about
of this
that, but
has
now I
to
do.
do and is the responsibility in this is on Seiju. There's even some Sentai alumni who talk about how exploitative the idol system is and how terrible that the agency wasn't around to really help this young woman in her career, in the hardships she's faced in the smear campaign she faced right off top of the career. I think two things can be correct. I think one, it could be true that she broke her contract. She committed a crime in underage drinking. Two, I think it can also be true that that shouldn't make you lose your job and livelihood in the way that it has for Maya. But like I said, I'm a Westerner. This is from a Westerner's perspective and not a Japanese perspective, because those two sides seem to be at war right now. And I don't really like a lot of the vitriol going on between the two. Westerners are very disconnected from it because we don't speak the language. We don't know a lot of what's going on. We have to rely on these third parties like the Japanese Twitter sphere to translate a lot of this stuff for us before we get to it. I had to pay for a Bunshan membership just to read those two articles because I couldn't find them posted literally anywhere in the Western fandom because nobody was. So I decided I wanted to go to the source. I didn't want to take secondhand information to convey to you guys. I wanted to show you exactly what was written and as it was reported. And I just don't see that happening anywhere else. And I don't like that. But either way, I think there's vitriol being spit way too much on both sides, the Japanese fandom and the Western fandom. I think the way the top...
Yeah, and come on, guys. Come on. You'll survive this. Like, come on. Like, this is one of those things where we will, like, eventually move on from it. And it's one of those things we will never forget, for sure. It's one of those things where we will eventually, like, move on to, like, another show and we'll be excited about some new things. So, yeah.
Wins in any social hierarchy is they get the people down here to fight and they just get away with anything. And that's what's happening here. I'm not under any disillusion that I can change the Japanese idol system or the Japanese agency system and get Toei to change this, because the fact of the matter is that this show isn't produced for me and you anyways. We don't matter to this show's bottom line or this agency's bottom line because it's not made for Westerners. We watch it pirated, we watch it bootlegged, and it's just we don't matter to them. So when you take the two spheres that are arguing, and one sphere says justice for Maya did nothing wrong, Maya should have been protected more, and the other sphere says no, there's the slut shaming going on. There's saying she's, hooking up with people she shouldn't be hooking up with. Illegal drinking is bad. She shouldn't be a role model for kids. As a business, you have to look at the side of those that you're actually catering towards, and that's the Japanese fan base. And so that's kind of where we are with all of this going on.
Yeah, and once again, I do have to say, at the end of the day, this Toei, Bandai, all these are businesses. They're here to basically make money by producing content. So, and you got to be able to make decisions that are at least that are profitable, and a damaged reputation does not help with profits. Neither is reckless spending, but you get the idea.
And like I said, I am not in support of what Toei or Seiju is doing in this situation. I think there's way too much going on. I think there's way too much nuance and business going on than I would know as a Westerner. I just wanted to bring you guys the actual reported facts, or the facts of what was reported, so you can draw your conclusions of this and inform you guys in a better way than I am currently seeing done. I want to end on that I hope this girl's career isn't completely shattered by this. I hope she can find success somewhere else, even if it's something else. Maybe like you have all this support from a U.S. side, maybe a U.S. appearance. Maybe we see Maya Imamori at Power Morphicon.
That'd be awesome.
I would love that. And for her to be able to see the faces of so many people that support her and were touched and love her as Goju Unicorn Sumino in #1 Sentai Gozyuger, because I've been to a lot of Power Morphicons, I've been to a lot of conventions where Japanese actors talk about in Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, and they see the support they get and they are amazed. They're flabbergasted by how many people. So I think that would be a really cool experience somewhere along down the line in the future for Maya to have, to be shown how many people she's entertained as this character. I think that would be really cool and really important. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Not the easiest video to film, a situation that I don't love talking about. I really hate talking about drama behind the scenes of these shows. I don't know these people. I know them as their characters, and that's it. I don't know their personal lives. I don't want to know their personal lives to an extent.
Me neither.
It's just this affects the show going forward, and I wanted to make sure that you guys were informed in the most clear and concise way possible. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
See ya, man. Anyways, with that was a pretty long one. I hope you all understood the entire Maya Imamori situation. It's really tough, and a whole bunch of false rumors going on. And the last video I want to go over is the new actress that's going to be playing Goju Unicorn. And this actress has actually played the Yellow Ranger of Avatar Sentai Dawn Brothers in the past, who this video is made by Heart of Sentai. It's been confirmed new Goju Unicorn is Oni's sister. For those of you that don't know, Oni's sister is the Yellow Ranger of Avatar Sentai Dawn Brothers, and she actually plays like somewhat of a big role in the series, as like her character, she was like an artist who was trying to figure out like who ripped off her comic, I believe. And yeah, with that being said, let's watch this video.
What's going down, ladies and gentlemen? Well, I'm not sure if y'all done heard the news or whatnot, but I just now seen, and I guess it is confirmed, that Goju Unicorn's character will be played by, will also be performed by the same girl that played Oni's sister and Dawn Brothers. You know, the girl character, she will be in replacing Maya in the Gozyuger series as being the new Goju Unicorn. Now, I don't know how the show is going to, pick up from this, or what this means, or what's this clarifying. It might make the series, better.
Hopefully.
Or it might not. We all do not know. But, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, there are certain people that already said that, Goju Unicorn is not going to be the same because everybody liked the Maya and the way her character was. So now, as it being this new episode 40 that, we're talking about, and they're saying that, the role has been confirmed and going to be played by someone else, we don't know what to expect. I'm just as stunned, surprised, excited to see what's
hey, there's a kid.
Yeah, little dude right here in the video. But I'm curious to find out what's going to happen now. I'm just curious to see what's going to come about, what it does for the series, what it does for, future updates, what it's going to do to a lot of things. So we all don't know. That's the thing. We all do not know what's going to go on. We all don't know what to expect. But
That's
like
true.
I said, everybody's got to stay tuned to find out. So I'm not sure if people still going to watch the show after this, because some people already said they're going to drop the show. But I already said that I wasn't going to drop the show. I'm not going to start watching it because, like I said,
there's always going to be people who will stop watching a show after something that they don't like happens, because people do tend to be genuinely upset, and I can understand that point of view.
Enjoy the show. I enjoy it, and I'm not finna just stop on behalf of what everybody else does. I'm different from everyone else, and
we all are different.
Hey, I got my own opinion, instead of everybody else's opinion. Also, I want to let y'all know that I got videos coming for y'all next week.
Cool.
So y'all stay tuned for that, and hopefully y'all enjoy. So until then, y'all take care.
All right. That's awesome, man. With that being said, that's going to conclude for this episode of the Political Freedom Fighters podcast. Basically, Super Sentai is going to be rebranded. The current season, number 1 Sentai Gozyuger is going to be basically changing because of the Maya Imamori situation. And hopefully things will get better from here. So with that being said, if you have enjoyed this episode, hit the like button down below. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified for any new videos that are coming up for this podcast. So with that being said, I hope you all enjoy, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Peace out.